Hi, my name's Alexander Lewis Hughes, founder, creative director and designer here at OASI Boards. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the lineup, what you can expect between the different boards, but if you want more information on each of these shapes specifically, check out the video for that particular board. First up on the left we have the Tranq, a board I initially designed with Adrian Roper at Axis. We went through 6 iterations of the Tranq before this one that I designed myself, and basically it's just a combination of all the ideas I had along the way to keep improving and making a better, more versatile shape for all-round use on the water. It's aimed specifically at freestyle riders and park riders that want to get a board that has the most kind of flex and playful feel. It's not the stiffest board in the lineup, and it's not the stiffest freestyle board on the market either. It's more meant to feel playful and snappy and lively on the water. And the bottom shape, the central concave, the channels are just there to give you the most control you can possibly get on the water. So the Tranq is really for someone that wants that all-round board that they know they can rely on, and it's just going to have a familiar feel as soon as they step on it. Next up after that, next to the Tranq, we have the Quill. And the Quill was a board I made to kind of complement the Tranq. It's a little bit wider outline, it's got a little bit more mellow, rounder tips, and it's missing that hillside channel that the Tranq has next to the central concave. It still has the central concave in the middle, and it's basically a version of the Tranq that's just a more stable feeling. So many people that like the Tranq also going to like the Quill, but it's just a little bit more mellow and maybe a bit more predictable ride than the Tranq, where the Tranq's a little bit lighter, a little bit snappy, a little bit more lively. The Quill is a little bit more solid feeling on the water, but it's much of a sameness, and I'm sure if you like one of these boards, you probably like the other one as well. After that, I designed the Wraith, which was my first foray into more alternative kind of shapes. I really just wanted to go all out and make something that was completely new. I knew that side cuts and more snowboard style of shape had to work if the dimensions were done right. And the Wraith was my first go at really trying to do a snow-inspired kind of shape. It rides a lot different to the Tranq or the Quill. It rides a lot different to many other boards on the market, but at the same time, it's actually a super easy board to ride. And if you hadn't ridden traditional shapes before, and you were someone that came from more of a snowboard background, I'm sure that if you stepped on the Wraith, you'd actually have a much easier time riding it. It still rides like a normal board, but there's just certain intricacies about it, the way you put your weight, how much more centered you are than a normal board where you're a lot more back foot heavy, and just the way you need to initiate the rail to turn and the way you can kind of butter on any direction that makes it a super playful and fun board to ride. So it's an alternative board, but at the same time, I think a lot of people could ride it as their everyday shredder, and they could even ride it for freestyle if they wanted to. Of course, making the Wraith just led me on to the next step, which was the Danq. And this is the most recent board I've produced, and it's a board that's basically a combination of the Tranq and the Wraith put together. If you look at the outlines and you look at the tip shapes, side cut, you can see that I've really just melted those two shapes together, and it's come out as something that I really enjoy. I ride the Danq a lot of the time. In the previous kind of 2 years, I've probably ridden it even more than I've ridden the Tranq or the Wraith or the Quill. And that's just because it's a super versatile board. It has the best aspects of the Wraith, but also some of the best aspects of the Tranq. And you really get the positives of that side cut, still mixed with a bit more curved tip, but something that can still have a good straight up pop if you want to do freestyle. So the Danq is really, I feel like it's the new all-rounder. I think a lot of people, if they try the Danq, it'd be their favorite board. And I also think that this style of shape that the Danq is in is probably the next step for freestyle boards. I think if some of the top freestylers tried some side cut like the Danq has in their shape, that they would really enjoy that locked in feeling on an edge when they're loading up for an unhook trick, and that this style of shape may well be the future of boards. I hope that's been informative. I just wanted to give you a quick overview. I didn't want to get too detailed. If you want more details about all these boards, just check their specific video and hit me up in the comments if you have any other questions. Cheers.